Alright, so The Shape of Water is about a this mute woman who is like a janitor at this like government facility thing, and they have the creature from the Black Lagoon there, um, and they're using it for like research and stuff. And then she like falls in love with him, and then tries to help him escape and whatnot. That's the story of the movie, and it was nominated for 13 Oscars, including Best Picture. So that's why we are talking about it today, and that's why I watched it. Um, so since it was nominated for 13 Oscars, I'm just gonna go right into it and just discuss everything it was nominated for. All right. So best achievement in production design. Um, that's actually well deserved nominee. I don't think it will win because of Blade Runner, but I mean it was a unique set design. Uh, looked very good. Good nomination. Film editing, sure, I guess. Editing is kind of hard to judge. Um, you know, but I mean, I didn't really notice the editing in the movie, so I guess that's a good thing. So, sure, why not? Sound mixing. Um, I guess there was some. Yeah, there was some. The creature made some interesting noises, so that's fair nomination. Sound editing. Usually they're kind of together all the time, but they're different things. Um, so I guess sure, sound editing. Why not? If it was sound mixing too. Costume design. Um, I guess if they're counting the creature's costume, then yeah, definitely. But if they're just talking about but I think that would go more under special effects, wouldn't it? I don't know. But all the other costumes, were just normal clothes. You know, I mean, not bad. Works for the movie, but nothing spectacular. Okay, cinematography. Um, I thought the cinematography was good. It worked for the movie. Um, but nothing like really stunning. There's a few good shots in the movie, but other than that, it worked for the movie, so it was good, very good cinematography. But nothing I was blown away by. And then here we get into screenplay. Um, this is where I start to have some issues, honestly, because now I can say this about the movie: it actually had a plot. It moved. It kept it interesting. New things happened. The story was moving along. There was a goal. You knew what the point of the movie was, and there was a point, and so good job. But that's what stories are supposed. That's what movies are supposed to be like. Um, which I can't say that about all the movies nominated for Best Picture this year. Um, but the thing about it is just it, it wasn't anything amazing to me. Um, I think there are plenty of other. I mean, this is a story we've heard 1,000 times. Honestly, there's some type of alien monster robot thing that the government wants and is trying to control. But there's the person, the kid. Usually, it's a kid for some reason that sees it as like a human and wants to be its friend or whatever. Usually, it doesn't have sex with it, but you know, it tries to protect it from the government, and then they, you know, whatever. I mean, I can't think of anything like right off the top of my head, but I know I've seen this before, um, a lot. Um, so just not very original, honestly. Um, I mean, and the characters were better than some that I've seen in some of the other movies. Um, because they actually had personalities. Some of them, like the main villain in the movie, is kind of one dimensional. He's very cartoony, actually. I mean, I can overlook that, but I mean, the characters were decent. They actually had character. Um, they were actually interesting to watch, so I'll give it that. Um, but there's a lot of things in this movie that's just like um, I don't know why that was in there. Like there's a scene where the guy goes and buys a car, and there's a scene where he's like with his wife. Um, there's kind of things I feel like are just kind of put in there for no reason. Um, I don't know. There probably is, but there was just, and there's this part, there's parts of the movie that where this guy, he's talking with the Russians and stuff, and those just really slowed the movie down for me. Um, and I didn't like those parts at all. Take those parts out, and I probably would have enjoyed this movie more. Um, but other than that, um, and then the fact that she falls in love with a fish. You know, it's supposed to be all like, oh, you know, they both can't talk. They're both kind of outcasts, whatever. But it's a fish man. It's still a fish man, and it's just weird. Okay, like let's be honest here. I mean, you can like guy, you can be gay, you can, you know, whatever, be into anything you want. But that's going into like bestiality. I mean, he's still a fish man. Just saying, that's weird. So I actually do have an issue with that. Um, anyways, yeah, I mean, I didn't really enjoy the story all that much. Um, although I think it was a better screenplay than some of the other ones. It wasn't anything great for me, you know. Um, so moving on. Best score. The music was pretty good. There's some other ones. I think like Phantom Thread was really good, and uh, even Call Me by Your Name had some pretty good scores. So I don't know. I don't think it will win score. Um, so then actress in a supporting role, Octavia Spencer. She's really good. Pretty much in everything she does. But I don't think this is her best performance. I haven't seen a lot of her movies, but even last year in what was it, Hidden Figures, I feel like she did a better job than this. Um, I think she could have done better with this. Some of the dialogue she's given. Some of the dialogue too is kind of corny. I mean, not too bad, but anyways. And then performance by an actor in a supporting role, Richard Jenkins. Um, he was probably the best part of the movie, honestly. Um, I really liked his performance and his character. Um, at this point, I don't know who else is nominated for supporting actor, but at this point, I think he could win. I thought it was pretty good. And best performance by an actress in a leading role, Sally Hawkins. Um, I think she did a very good job because she doesn't speak in the whole movie. Um, so yeah, uh, she does a very good performance just with just physically, you know, being acting, without words. So good job. And then the best achievement in directing for Guillermo del Toro. Um, I think that yeah, that's a good nomination actually. I think it was directed well. Um, I think it has good tone um, throughout the movie. Uh, you know, it looks great. You know, I think it did a good job directing. I don't know. For me, I can't explain exactly what um, makes the direction great. Like with screenplay and stuff, I can pick out like what I think was this part wasn't that great, and it didn't have enough of whatever. But directing is just kind of you feel it, honestly. Um, and same thing with acting. When I don't go into depth with acting at all. I'm just like they did a good job. That's all I can say. um, but yeah, I don't know if he'll win though. I think who else? Uh, Christopher Nolan. I hope wins. Maybe Jordan Peele or even Greta Gerwig um, could win. But I mean, Guillermo could win too. And then Best Picture. It's better than some of the other ones. It's better than I like it more than Phantom Thread. I like it more than um, Call Me by Your Name. But for me, this movie was just a decent movie. I think it did like things pretty well. And some of the nominations I think are deserved. Um, but to me, it wasn't anything great. It was just kind of That was decent. It wasn't awful. I didn't like it. I didn't necessarily like it, but I didn't hate it. I didn't even think it was okay. It was probably a step above okay. Um, so the fact that it's nominated for Best Picture, wow, you know. But honestly, I don't feel like there's a lot of competition this year. And I'll get into that later. But compared to some of the other movies I've seen, I'm okay with this being nominated for Best Picture. I don't know if it will win, honestly. Um, I really don't know who's gonna win this year because none of them really stand out to me. But that's all I gotta say about The Shape of Water. Really weird. Oh yeah, there was one part. Um, if you haven't seen it, you can end the video now. But she goes into a musical number. Like it's not actually her singing, so that made it really weird to transition it into that. And it goes into black and white, and they do this like tap dancing thing. It's her and the fish guy, and they're like dancing. They're tap dancing. It's like really. I mean, the movie's weird in the first place, but this just felt really out of place. Um, and just so weird. Especially in the next scene, it's a violent scene. This guy's like punching the guy, and like he's bleeding everywhere, and it's a very violent scene. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.